Scary True Pizza Delivery Horror Stories, YouTube, English. At the tender age of 17, I found myself trapped in a nightmarish ordeal while toiling away as a pizza delivery boy for a local joint. The months of deliveries had made me complacent, but this fateful evening would shatter my sense of safety. My trusty steed was a beat-up Toyota, a perfect companion for zipping through the town's dimly lit streets. It was a weekend night, one of those ominous Friday or Saturday shifts that stretched late into the witching hour. My boss, Mario, always the harbinger of trouble, handed me the details for the night's last delivery. This one was for a woman named Karen, and it promised a rather lengthy drive, a sinister 15-minute trek into the unknown. My anticipation for a generous tip was all that kept my spirits from plummeting. With the pizza safely nestled in my car, I embarked on my journey, the familiar playlist serenading me on the way. As I approached the given address, my heart raced, and the clock's hands inched past 11, signaling that the night was deepening into the abyss. The house I arrived at was an unassuming, modest abode, as most were in this lower-income neighborhood. A single room on the first floor spilled warm light into the otherwise shadowed facade. As I approached the door, a voice from a neighboring house pierced the silence, chilling me to the bone. A woman's voice beckoned. "Excuse me, that pizza is for us. We gave the wrong address." My heart pounded as I reluctantly obeyed, marching to the adjacent house. The doorbell lay broken and mute, forcing me to pound heavily on the main door. Time seemed to stretch into an eternity as I waited for a response. Finally, a woman's voice echoed from within, claiming, "1 second." But seconds stretched to minutes, and I began to fidget with unease. The door creaked open at last, revealing a woman who appeared to be in her mid-40s. Her gaze, heavy with a twisted desire, swept over me, making my cheeks flush with embarrassment. She beckoned another woman, equally aged, who shared her unsettling interest in me. As I stammered out the details of my delivery, the woman who had greeted me, presumably Karen, inquired about my work hours. A creeping nervousness settled in, for I was ill-equipped to navigate the treacherous waters of flirting. Stumbling over my words, I claimed it to be my final delivery of the night. They then extended an offer, inviting me inside for a glass of wine, regardless of my age. With my friends' jeers echoing in my mind, I hesitantly accepted their proposition. They led me to the couch, where we settled in. It was at this point that the unsettling reality of the situation began to unfurl like a malevolent tapestry. Both women, clearly intoxicated, bombarded me with flirtatious comments, their eyes fixated on my every move. As they sipped their wine, I feigned enjoyment of the bitter liquid, my inexperience with wine concealed behind a facade. Suddenly, one of the women, Chelsea, hinted at a basement surprise. I couldn't help but fantasize about what lurked below. My anticipation, however, would soon be replaced by gut-wrenching dread. I reluctantly approached the basement entrance, peering into the foreboding darkness. My gaze flickered back to the women, who had abandoned their laughter for eerie stillness. I queried the contents of the basement, prompting them to respond with a cryptic "It's a secret." As they urged me to descend first, my innocent imaginings faded into something far more sinister. Stepping cautiously into the inky abyss, I fumbled for a light switch, my heart pounding in my chest. One of the women, with an unsettling synchronized quality, murmured, "Leave the lights off." My senses sharpened as I thought I glimpsed movement, a hand, arm, deep within the gloom. My instincts screamed danger, and I darted out, slamming the basement door behind me. A desperate plea for my earnings emerged as I skirted the women, edging closer to the front door. And then he appeared. A towering, menacing figure loomed in the adjacent room. A kitchen, perhaps. His words, chillingly succinct, would haunt me forever. "Let's just make this easy." My instincts kicked into overdrive. I declared the pizza free and bolted towards my car, locking it immediately. Outside my window, the colossal figure tried the door, knocking insistently. Without looking back, I sped away, my heart racing as the chilling encounter replayed in my mind. Upon my return to the pizzeria, I recounted the harrowing experience to my boss and coworkers, who were left in stunned disbelief. With trembling hands, I dialed the non-emergency number, reporting the eerie incident at that cursed address. Whatever sinister trap lay in that basement, I would forever be grateful for not descending into its nightmarish depths. 2 years passed, and I had long left my job as a pizza delivery boy. Yet, the haunting memories of that night continued to plague my thoughts. Every creak of a floorboard, every shadow in the dark, reminded me of the sinister encounter with those women and the looming menace in that dimly lit house. I couldn't help but wonder what malevolent intentions had driven them to orchestrate such a sinister scenario. The unanswered questions gnawed at my conscience, a constant reminder of the darkness that could hide behind seemingly ordinary facades. My life carried on, but I remained vigilant, always cautious of my surroundings. It was an unwelcome shadow that clung to me, one I couldn't shake. But time has a way of pushing even the most sinister memories to the recesses of the mind, allowing us to heal and move forward. Then, one evening, as I was heading home from my new job, I noticed a familiar address. It was the very same house where I had narrowly escaped a terrifying fate. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was as if fate had guided me back to that dark corner of my past. Curiosity and dread swelled within me, and against my better judgment, I decided to investigate. I parked my car at a distance, concealing myself in the shadows as I observed the house. It seemed abandoned, shrouded in an eerie silence. The windows were boarded up, and the overgrown yard had swallowed any semblance of life that once existed there. A chill ran down my spine as I realized that the house was foreclosed and empty. How could that be? It had been 2 years, and my memory of those women and the terrifying man was still vivid. Had they truly vanished without a trace? As I pondered the inexplicable, I began hearing faint, unsettling sounds. Footsteps echoed on the sidewalk outside, and a gate swung open and closed, its creaking eerily familiar. Panic set in as my heart raced, and I retreated into the safety of my car, locking the doors. Paranoia gripped me once more, and I couldn't shake the feeling that someone, something, was watching me. The memories of that ominous night flooded back, and the fear I had buried resurfaced with a vengeance. I couldn't help but wonder if that third man, the one who had eluded capture, was still out there, lurking in the shadows. I knew it was time to leave, to put this cursed place behind me once and for all. I sped away, vowing never to return to that accursed house. The enigma of that night remained unsolved, and the threat that had once loomed over me still lingered in the depths of my mind. Life moved on, but I remained haunted by the memory of that night. The scars of that sinister encounter would forever be etched into my soul, a constant reminder that evil could lurk in the most unexpected places. I had escaped that night with my life, but the shadows it cast would never truly fade away.